Hey guys, Remastered here, back with another Starcraft Broodwar Remastered cast, and today I have a ladder game for you from Feb 2023 between the really brilliant up-and-coming Terran named Bishop. He is currently participating in ASL Season 15, and he is playing against a blue Protoss whose name is Khala. Now, for those of you who don't know who Khala is, he is a Korean semi-professional Protoss player who has been streaming on Twitch and YouTube for a number of years. He has put out so many Protoss guides. I think any player learning Protoss has been pointed in the direction of a Khala guide because this guy does incredibly good coaching guides. They are done in Korean, but he dubs the key points with some English translations as well. PVT guides, PVZ guides, guides for people that play with low APM, guides that want to for people that want to learn how to use certain types of units. Just a really brilliant contributor to the Broodwar community, and I'm really excited because I've never had a chance to cast the game of Khala before. I've watched him on his stream many times. So to actually see it from this perspective is incredibly exciting. So PVT here for you. We are on Polypoid. This is my list of players that I'm working through. You can see Khala is on there. I was really thrilled to find some replays of his. So yeah, if this is a list of players that you are keen on having a look at, please do let me know in the comments who your favorites are. Subscribe to the channel so that you're notified when these games do go live. And yeah, if you're enjoying this game or you're just a regular viewer, please do hit that like button, man. It really helps. So we're going with a low ground gateway here from Khala, which implies an early zealot. The zealot will pop out and probably run down to put a little bit of harassment on our Terran, I imagine. Otherwise, I don't really know why you would build this on the low ground unless you just want to try and wall in from vultures a little bit more snugly. That's another reason. But here does come our zealot. Our Terran is building his barracks in a wally place, and what I mean by that is you can put your depot here, and then it's very difficult for zealots to actually get through and harass you at all. And it also does open the door up for a 2-fac if you're keen on that. We can see though that he's pulled his SCVs off of gas, so that is not the plan. He's building his factory here, and so he's setting up for basically a factory expansion, but building his supply depot and his barracks here just to block the potential zealot harassment. That was probably the intention from Khala, but doesn't seem to be what he's going with. In fact, I think I wasn't keeping a close eye, but I think he actually cancelled the zealot once he scouted the opening to see that he wasn't going to get any value, and has just progressed straight to goons. Looks like he's saving up some cash to do a 20 Nexus before range, which is probably the most econ optimal expansion you can do. It's one goon before range. You can see the goon pops out, and now I think he's probably going to send this goon around the map to try and chase down the scouting SCV before he gets in. There he sees him, and I think you'll watch this micro. His mission will be so clear to block this SCV from getting into his house. One more shot, you get the job done, and there we go. And just for extra insurance, the probe also cut and slowed the SCV down. So this Dragoon's going to come down here now, have a look at when our Terran is expanding. We can see that the command center is nearly complete, and will be floated up here. Difficult though if you're a Protoss and you're trying to see what your Terran is doing and this is all that's visible to you. However, you get up here and you see that that barracks isn't blinking, or you get a count on the Marines and you see it's only 2. You're like, okay, well, it doesn't seem to be a push of any kind at this stage. It's probably just a high ground into low ground. As you can see, he's trying his damnedest to get as much information here as he can. In fact, he's counted that it's only 2 Marines, and he backs his goon to beat them. But with the 3rd Marine now, I think the numbers no longer make sense. So it does back away. Takes quite a lot of damage on that goon, but does have a second one that's up here. I think the goal from Khala here would just to constantly be a pain. So here again, he's going to get up here, and he's going to get that Marine. The Marine gets away though, sees the tank pop out, sees the factory, and also sees the machine shop working, so figures, okay, so it's probably siege mode or some kind of upgrade, so he can be relatively safe in the notion that it's, at the very least, it's only one factory. So he's going to micro his goons back. It's been a very busy PVT so far. Both players really active, both players getting things done. So he saturated his natural beautifully. He's got his probe count going, 23 plus 24 though, so you can see that this Terran is really strong. because he's basically on one command center managed to exceed the worker count of the Protoss, who's had 2 Nexuses for quite some time. Alright, so our 3 goons have moved back slightly. 2 are quite badly hurt, 1 is not. In spite of the early pressure that the Terran was facing, decided to go mines as opposed to siege mode. I think that shows a lot of confidence in his micro. Khala constantly manages his units behind his build. One of the things that makes you a little bit dizzy if you watch his stream, but that's just having the APM required to play at this level. There's no two ways about that. So building a pylon here, probably just to wall in against the vultures. Observatories coming into play. Is going to need that to spot these mines. And I don't think we're going to expect too much in terms of movements from the Dragoons. The mines do give Terran map control, at least for the time being. So how is our Terran progressing with his build? It still just looks like one factory is getting an eBay, getting an armory, and already got +1 going. So looks like it's probably going to be a 3-base build. Not exploding his factory count at this stage. So let's see if he does try and take a 3rd base off of 2 or 3 factories. This vulture is going to die. Bye-bye, Mr. Vulture. It's a nice placement of the Dragoons. Knowing that he's expanded relatively quickly, Terran wants to block an easy 3rd for the Protoss. Khala decides, well, I've got my goons here. Your Vulture wasn't able to lay any mines, so I'm going to take my 3rd here. Thank you very much. And once I have an observer in your base, which is on his way now, I'm going to get a factory count to get a very good idea of what your plan is. Damn, your friggin' missile turret is a nuisance. So is he going to be able to get in here and actually get this factory count? We're going to keep an eye on this observer and see. Not too much else happening at this stage of the game anyway. So a couple more goons. It's just goons constantly out of 1 gate. So it's 2 gates, excuse me. So it's basically 2-gate observer looking to expand and take a 3rd base. In fact, sending his obs in across here because he's already deciding he just wants to go straight into a 4th. Is this going to be a 7-minute 4th from Khala? I am really curious to know here. And based on what? Based on what? You just got a count on the tanks and you've decided that's good enough information? Wow. That is insane. That is insane. I would love to know. I mean, his ability to read the game is incredibly strong. Based on what? Your observer got to this point, right? So you didn't fly in and count the factories. You did see the tank count at 2. And I think you saw siege mode. I think that's probably the answer. When you see siege mode as a Protoss at this stage of the game, you tend to know that Protoss doesn't have enough, Terran doesn't have enough mobile units to move across the map and kill you as of yet. So where are we in this game? 44 workers plays 44. Protoss is on 4 bases, and Terran is still on 2. Terran is on 2 factories, soon to become 3 factories, getting an academy in place so that they can start to do their scans. Our observer has gotten into the base here, just out of range of this turret, does see the floating starport, so can understand that obviously the science facility will be in place soon so that he can get to +2. This is maybe a 2-1 build. Before we push out, we'll have to keep an eye on the upgrades, and of course I'm keeping my eye peeled for a command center, because if it is a 3-base build from our Terran, usually 8 to 9 minutes is when that 3rd command center comes out. Khala is going Reaver here, so his tech progression is 4-base. Reaver using the robotics tech as his main asset at the moment, so we don't see a Citadel, we don't see a progression to Arbiter, so it looks like it's going to be shuttles and Reavers. This is a more modern way of playing. It's a very, very difficult way to play, but I mean, at this level, all options are available to these guys for obvious reasons. So here we go. He is building the 3rd at exactly 9 minutes. So as I thought, it is a 3-base build. He does move his tanks into position to protect this position. And I think he has enough mines and other things here that pretty much should make him feel quite safe. It is off of 3 facts, but once this is up and running and fully saturated, 3 facts will become 7 facts, will become 9 facts really, really fast. And then the Terran starts to get really, really scary. I'm just checking how many armories we have. We have 2. I don't know where. Oh, there it is. Okay, so we have the double upgrades going. So this is a very upgrade-centric build. It does give Protoss a window. Because he spent so much money on upgrades and he's been on a relatively low factory count for quite some time. It's only 4-gate, 5, 6, 7-gate production though from our Protoss. It does give our Protoss a little bit of a window, but he's got to do some damage with the Reavers. These Vultures walk into these Reavers and say, oh dear, okay, so there's some Reavers here. Does dodge the Scarab shots quite decently. It's moving around everywhere, I think, just to get some visibility on the map, to clear mines, and he's setting up for a 5th behind this, so a very, very good macro approach to this game from Khala. Is going to go up to probably 5 bases before the 12-minute mark, and is still progressing quite nicely. A Wraith, though, this is super painful. So 1 Wraith from our Terran does a huge impact, because now the Reaver shuttle play, I think, becomes significantly more difficult. This is a counter we see more and more to this either speed shuttle or speed Reaver shuttle type style. Speed shuttles can be for Templars and for Reavers, depending on what the Protoss wants to do. Both well countered, though, by a single Wraith. That's actually all it takes, because the Dragoons are just not going to be able to necessarily be everywhere they need to be as the only anti-air that the Protoss has available. So this seems to be it here. The 160 timing attack on the 3rd coming in from this angle. I think this is going to be a juicy fight. We're going to keep a nice peripheral view on this. So here he comes from this angle. It's probably going to drop the Reavers in as well to be a factor in the fight. Couple of mines do a lot of work there. I don't know if there's enough Protoss here. We'll have to see. He does drop the Reaver. 1 Reaver goes down really, really quickly. The second one as well. I don't think he got nearly enough damage here. And it's very, very, very little penetration on the tank line. Only 4 Zealots here as well. He's able to unsiege and resiege. That's probably a little bit of an issue, because now at least 4 or 5 Zealots do get on top of the tank line. But I think Terran's going to get away here pretty unscathed. This bunker's also earning its keep. But here we go. He is actually getting a little bit more penetration, but it's 118 versus 81. Let's have a look at the reinforcement power of our Terran. So Khala will, I don't think, break this. I think the reinforcing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 factories will probably sort this out. A couple of vultures will come in. In fact, the repair on this bunker has really been massively valuable. I think he's probably lost 4 or 5 SCVs, which is an inconvenience if nothing else. But this is going to be the end of the attack from Protoss. The vultures are going to clean this up without a problem. The goons are all gone. I think Khala, unfortunately, his goon count has virtually been reset, which really does hurt, because you're not going to win this purely with Zealots. The Terran is mainly reinforcing with vultures anyway, so the mines are going to come in. He does move into, I think, just to check if there's a base here, maybe to secure one of his own. So behind that, Khala does go up to a 5th, but that was not as good of a trade as I think he possibly would have wanted. That is a bit of a timing attack where you really need to try and break that base, because now the Terran's reinforcement power is just really strong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 factory production, and I wouldn't be surprised to see if he takes on a 4th. Does use his vultures to just check if there's any opportunity to harass. Moved across the map here. Khala had to pull his probes, and has now probably pulled them back to one of his other bases as well. That 5th base is still on its way up. Vulture's very, very active on the map, so it does resaturate after the little bit of harassment from the Terran. So we're moving across now, clearing mines. But now you watch. If you want to move in here, suddenly there's tanks here again, there's mines here again, there's vultures here again. He's really, really ready for this. So I think Khala might go for it again. I have my doubts, though, because the units here from our Terran are just getting stronger and stronger. It's now 2-1 mech versus no upgraded ground units. I don't even know what's supporting here. Nothing. He's got some shuttles. What are inside the shuttles? Time will tell. Let's keep an eye on what they are. The speed does kick in, though, so it's able to fly over this a little bit and basically drop some high Templars. Lovely storms, though. That certainly does make a big difference, but both shuttles have gone down, unfortunately. But the penetration that the storms gave was able to clear that tank line. Suddenly now Khala is getting some serious penetration here. He's got plenty of goons. The goons are his best friend against these vultures. The Zealots, though, are not moving forward to take down these tanks. Maybe they need to, but Terran's forced to reposition anyway, or face the possibility of losing his command center, which I think he's probably going to do. Although the mine drags there really, really did help the Terran. The Protoss numbers are thinning, and another tank moves into position. The repair on this tank is massively valuable because they're picking off these goons. Khala's probably going to have to retreat. A round of reinforcing vultures comes out of the factories of the Terran. That's very, very helpful. But suddenly even more Protoss has arrived. Goons, like I say again, are the biggest friend against these. More mines though, but looks like the mines might be counterproductive. Big mine drag, killing that tank. Constant attacks here from Khala. Eventually the Terran is forced to actually lift off this command center. It's going to take down, and I think he's firing at it. He really, really wants this. This Vulture's just firing on one Dragoon. He doesn't care. A shuttle has arrived as well. It's going red, but I don't know if he's going to get it. He really, really wants this command center to slow down the macro of the Terran. He does get it. And meanwhile, a couple of Wraiths are flying across the map. probably just to go and harass and pick some probes here for free. So where are these guys going? Well, there's absolutely nothing protecting these probes. Not a cannon, nothing. I'm really surprised to see this from Khala. Usually he has at least one cannon in all of his expansions. Meanwhile, other vultures have run up here and been picking on this base. I've unfortunately missed that because I was getting really excited about the attack that was happening on this side of the map. So Khala's down to 52 probes. Now for the first time seems to be building a cannon, reinforcing this. He has sent some goons across here to try and clean up the remainder of these vultures. This game has been absolutely nuts from beginning to end. Just action-packed. Oh, that mine really hurt. But it's still 163 versus 106. I think Protoss has this despite the counter-harassment. He's got so many nexuses, he could quickly resaturate any lost probes. But having this cannon, I think, will be useful. He does need to get some more goons. I think he lost a lot of goons from those fights. So our Terran, though, is basically still just on 2 bases. So taking down that third is massive. But he is able to reinforce and get quite a few units on the field pretty fast. How's our upgrade count looking now? Now we're 3-2, right? 3-2, very difficult to just bludgeon to death. It is versus 1-1, but the upgrade parity just doesn't scale at all for Protoss, unfortunately. So that is a huge edge that our Terran does have. The wall of pylons is there. He has got himself a couple of gateways here now, making him far less vulnerable to vulture harassment there. Does have a cannon here, making him less vulnerable. Does have a cannon here, making him less vulnerable. And has a cannon here as well. So Khala has fortified a few leaks that I think he did have. Here comes the vultures, but you can see now the cannon is in play. But these are 3-2 vultures here. Like, one cannon's really not going to do much. The probes have to fight. He loses even more. Again, he's going to go down to below 50 probes. This has got to be a little bit tilting for Khala. It's really frustrating, and it's distracting as well. He moves his entire army back. The whole purpose of this harassment from the Terran is really just to buy himself some time. I don't know if he's going to have enough. He needs about 140 supply, maybe less because of the upgrade differential, to hold a basic full-on big push from the Protoss. This is pretty much just goon zealots with observers. And a couple of shuttles, okay? So it's 3-4 shuttles. So let's see how well he does. The storms here are going to have to be godlike. So it throws down a few. That's a nice storm on the tank line. But I think I counted. He only got one storm off there, unfortunately. Here come the goons. But the mines are so many in number. And there are so few goons that are left. The zealots here are getting nowhere. The Goliaths intercepting them. The tank line here is really strong. The upgrades here are really strong. Bishop has held on so tight. We can see here why this guy is in the ASL. He has absorbed so much pressure, and I think now it's just moved into a commanding position. It doesn't matter about the base deficit. The onus is on Protoss to try and break him. I don't know how Protoss is going to get this right. He's re-established this third. I don't think it'll be long before he finds the confidence and the map control to get himself a fourth. And if that happens, Protoss has got absolutely no chance. So he does have a high Templar here to block this harassment. Still, if you consider the base count of the Protoss, he doesn't have nearly enough workers. Wow, I needed to breathe, man. This game has been absolute cracker. Look at this tank count. Look at this. This is unbelievable. The pressure he's absorbed off of 1, 2, 3, 4... Only 7 fact production, and he has got 3 machine shops. So basically, tanks have just been constantly off of 3 facts, vultures off of 4, on the 2 bases, which was 3 bases, which was temporarily 2, but is now 3 again. The question will be, how long can Terran go for on these 3 bases before needing to expand? I have heard people tell me that Terran can stay on 2 bases forever, but he's mined out here. It's basically mined out here, so he's going to need another base really soon, or I don't think he's going to be able to get this one over the line because he's not going to be able to reinforce any trades. So, the question I'm going to have is, our Terran going to try and expand? So, Khala not now attacking. He's pulling back, understanding that he's probably not in the strongest position to engage head on. But he also understands that Terran is running out of money fast. So, the vultures here are going to fight against his dragoons. It's basically only vultures though. Khala's game sense is excellent, as we would expect. So now the tanks do move into position. He has got to land this command center. This is critical. So how much does he leave here to protect this base? The answer is plenty. How much does Khala have to potentially flank this army? The answer is not enough, in my opinion. So down comes that High Templar. As he was dropped, he just got smushed in the face without having a snowball's chance in hell of getting a storm off. drops a Zealot, doesn't do anything. There he gets a Storm. Somehow Bishop dodges that Storm with those tanks. That is just freaking unbelievable. Doesn't dodge that one, but there's only one tank underneath there anyway. So much effort to land this damn command center. Khala is floating a little bit of cash. I think he needs to pump out around a macro. Building an Arbiter now, so I think understanding that this speed shuttle Templar type style is run its course against 3-3 mech. He's going to need some additional help. 3-2 is just really, really strong and really, really hard to break. So is leapfrogging, is getting up here. Probably going to drop a Zealot or something on top of that. So there is a Storm picking off at least one tank, a D-Matrix on that tank. But the resistance here to hold this base has basically been broken. Another High Templar dying. We hear a lot of dying animations in this game. So we're moving across here. We're going to land this command center. Another decent Storm, but relatively well dodged. I think probably a couple more Goliaths here against these shuttles would be handy. I think Khala wants to storm this position up a narrow choke. Very, very difficult to do, but again, good speed shuttle play. Constant harassment from Khala. He knows that this is basically where this game's going to get decided, is whether or not he's able to establish and land the space safely. So up come the siege tanks. Obviously, Bishop is thinning his numbers here by doing his utmost to protect this position, which does potentially make him vulnerable somewhere else. This command center now, though, is under fire, but the siege tanks are on the high ground. So if he just leapfrogs them slightly further forward or potentially flanks from the back, both would be viable options. But how much money does our Terran have left? He's got a lot of workers, but so few of them are ungainfully employed. And more drops here from Khala. This is just constant Zealot bombs. A lovely, beautiful, another beautiful Storm. More Storms going off. The tank numbers are thinning. There's just more and more Zealots. 155 plays 99. Bishop taps out. He just cannot get the space established. Khala with an absolutely relentless style, pressuring the third, blocking the fourth coming up, throwing a few units to the slaughter, but the drops, the Storm drops, the Zealot bombs, the understanding of when to pull back and read the game was absolutely critical. I thought the game there was on a knife edge for a little while where Bishop actually could have pulled it out of the fire, but Khala took a breath, he reconsolidated, focused all his energy, his micro, and his attention on denying the space, and was able to pull the game out of the fire. That was one of my favorite TVPs I've actually ever had the pleasure of casting. I'm Rabidru. These are the kinds of games you can expect to enjoy on the channel. Subscribe for more. Until next time, ciao for now.